Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to another exciting episode of Leo English Story, the podcast where you learn English in real-life situations. I'm Leo, your host, and today's episode is one that everyone will find useful: job interviews, how to ace them and avoid common mistakes. I'm not alone today. I'm joined by a special guest, my friend and language partner, Clara, who recently nailed her interview at an international tech company and is here to share her experience and tips. Clara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Leo. I'm happy to be here, and I hope our listeners will learn and feel more confident for their next job interview.
Before we dive into techniques, let's start with the basics. Clara, why are job interviews such a big deal?
Job interviews are one of the most important moments in your professional life. It's not just about showing your qualifications. It's about how you express your thoughts, how you present yourself, and how confident and professional you appear. A strong interview can open doors to great careers, while a poor one can cost you a golden opportunity, even if your resume is excellent.
That's very true. An interview is often your first personal impression on a company. Many candidates have excellent skills but lose the opportunity simply because they don't prepare enough or don't know how to communicate well.
Exactly. And for English learners, it's a double challenge. You have to think about what you're saying and how to say it in English. But here's the good news: with preparation and the right strategies, anyone can improve.
In fact, preparing for a job interview helps with more than just getting a job. It builds your self-confidence, improves your English fluency, and teaches you to speak about yourself, something we don't always practice.
Yes, it forces you to reflect on your experiences, your strengths, and your goals. Those are important things to understand, no matter your profession. When you can clearly express what you've done and what you want, you're already ahead.
Absolutely. In this episode, we'll go through practical tips, common mistakes, and even do a mock interview roleplay. Whether you're looking for your first job or your 10th, this episode will help.
And don't worry, dear listeners, we'll keep the English simple, clear, and useful. Let's learn together. Tip number 1: research the company. It's so important to understand the company's mission, values, and what they do. This shows the interviewer that you are interested and serious.
Yes, don't just memorize facts. Try to understand how you can contribute to the company's success.
Exactly. Tip 2: practice common questions. Questions like, tell me about yourself, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and why should we hire you, are almost always asked. E3ZD 3123 squared.
And for behavioral questions, the STAR method is very useful. That's situation, task, action, and result.
Right. For example, if you're asked, tell me about a time you solved a problem, you can describe the situation, the task you had, the action you took, and the result. It makes your answer organized and clear.
What about appearance and behavior?
Very important. Tip 3: dress professionally, even for online interviews. It makes a strong first impression.
Yes, looking good makes you feel good, too.
Tip 4: show enthusiasm, smile, make eye contact, speak clearly. Confidence is key.
And don't forget tip 5, ask questions at the end.
That's right. Ask about the company culture, training programs, or team structure. It shows you're thinking about how you'll fit in and grow with them.
What would you recommend for English learners specifically?
Learn vocabulary related to your job. Practice speaking answers aloud. Record yourself to improve fluency and pronunciation. It also helps reduce anxiety.
Great tips. Let's move on to mistakes to avoid. All right, Clara, let's talk strategies. What are your top tips for acing a job interview? Clara, let's talk about the traps people fall into during interviews. What are some of the big mistakes?
One major mistake is not preparing. Some people think they can just go in and speak from the heart, but you need structure.
Yes, without practice, your answers may be too long, too short, or unclear.
Another mistake is memorizing answers word for word. This makes you sound robotic.
It's better to remember key ideas and speak naturally.
Exactly. Also, people often forget to review their own resume. You must know every detail you wrote, because they will ask about it.
What about body language?
Good point. Lack of eye contact, crossed arms, or nervous fidgeting can make you seem unsure. Sit straight, smile, and be relaxed.
Anything about English?
Don't apologize for your level. Speak slowly and clearly. If you don't understand something, it's okay to ask the interviewer to repeat.
I like that. It shows honesty and a willingness to communicate.
Finally, people forget to thank the interviewer at the end. A simple "thank you for your time today" goes a long way.
All great points. Let's now do a role play. Let's do it. I'll be the interview. Clara, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Good morning, Clara. Thank you for joining us today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Clara Roberts. I'm a digital marketing specialist with over 5 years of experience working with both startups and established companies. I specialize in social media strategy, SEO, and content creation. I'm passionate about helping brands grow and connect with their audiences in meaningful ways. I'm very excited about the possibility of working with your team.
That's great. Can you walk me through your resume, highlighting your most recent role and achievements?
Absolutely. In my most recent role at Brightspark Media, I worked as the lead digital marketing strategist. I managed a team of 3 people and oversaw campaigns that increased our clients' website traffic by over 60% in 6 months. I developed a full inbound marketing plan, created analytics dashboards to measure results, and ran weekly reports to guide our decisions. Before that, I worked for a startup where I wore many hats, from email marketing to running paid ad campaigns. This gave me a broad understanding of different marketing channels.
That's impressive. What motivated you to apply for this role in our company?
I've been following your company for a long time. I'm inspired by how you embrace innovation, especially in your sustainability campaigns. I believe your values align closely with mine, especially in creating content that not only converts, but also makes an impact. I see this as a place where I can learn, grow, and make a meaningful contribution.
Can you tell me about a challenging situation you faced at work and how you handled it?
Yes, I'd be happy to. At my previous company, we launched a campaign for a new product. After the first 2 weeks, it became clear that engagement was very low. I took the initiative to pause the campaign and analyze the data. I found out that our target audience was not connecting with the message. I proposed a revised strategy focusing on storytelling and testimonials from real users. After we relaunched, we saw a 40% increase in engagement and a 25% increase in conversions. I learned how important it is to listen to feedback and adjust quickly.
That sounds like a great example of problem solving. What would you say are your strengths and weaknesses?
One of my biggest strengths is communication. Whether I'm presenting data to stakeholders or explaining a social media strategy to a client, I make sure the message is clear. I also adapt quickly to change and enjoy learning new tools. As for weaknesses, I used to struggle with delegation. I often felt like I needed to do everything myself to ensure quality, but over the last year, I've worked on building trust with my team and improving my delegation skills, and now we're more productive and efficient.
How do you handle stress or tight deadlines?
I prioritize tasks using the Eisenhower matrix, urgent vs. important, and break big projects into smaller steps. I also communicate early with my team if I foresee any delays. For me, staying organized is key. I also make sure to take short breaks to reset when needed.
That's very practical. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I hope to be in a leadership position, managing a global marketing team. I'd love to be mentoring others and helping them grow, just like many mentors have helped me. I also want to keep developing my skills in marketing automation and data-driven strategies.
Excellent. Before we finish, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, thank you. I'd love to know how your company supports ongoing learning and development for employees. Are there any programs or mentorship opportunities?
Absolutely. We have monthly workshops, an internal mentorship program, and a budget for external courses. We believe in helping our employees grow.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you, Clara. You gave thoughtful and clear answers. I'm sure our listeners learned a lot from your example.
Thank you, Leo. It was a great experience.
As we wrap up this episode of Leo English Story, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. Job interviews are more than just questions and answers. They're opportunities to showcase your personality, your values, your professionalism, and your communication skills. Whether you're applying for a part-time role or your dream position, preparation is what makes all the difference. From Clara's excellent advice, we now understand the importance of researching the company, practicing common questions, using techniques like the STAR method, and being aware of both verbal and non-verbal communication. We also highlighted the common mistakes, such as sounding robotic, failing to know your own resume, and not asking questions that can easily cost you the job. For English learners, interviews might feel twice as hard, but remember, your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to be clear, confident, and genuine. Even native speakers feel nervous before interviews. What sets successful candidates apart is practice and self-awareness. I encourage you to listen to this episode again. Take notes, pause and practice answering the questions we went through in the role play. Maybe even record yourself and listen to your own answers. Ask a friend to play the recruiter. The more familiar you are with these questions and formats, the more comfortable you will be when it really counts. And here's something important: don't be discouraged by failure. Sometimes, you don't get the job, not because you're not good enough, but because the fit just wasn't right. Use each interview as a learning experience. With every attempt, you become stronger, more prepared, and more polished. Finally, always remember that your English learning journey is connected to real-life goals, like getting a job, growing in your career, and connecting with new people. That's why it's important to practice English in real-life contexts, just like we did today. Thank you, Clara, for being such a wonderful guest and role model for our listeners.
Thank you, Leo. I'm sure our audience is going to do great in their next interviews.
And thank you, dear listeners. If you found this episode helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment about your own interview experience. We're always here to help you grow in your English journey and in life. Until next time, keep learning, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself.